Hello and a very, very good morning to you. This is Phil Griggs. This is Cafe Clairvoyance and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Spiritual Astrology Show. Hope you're well out there. Very informative morning, I think, indeed. Loads to discuss, especially the current energies around us at the moment. And yes, we'll be back to you in just a moment. In the meantime, now, let's have a little intro. Well, very good morning to you. It's 11 o'clock here in Spain. It's whatever time it is for you guys, wherever you are, whether in the UK or anywhere else in the world. It's lovely to see on this show here that we're attracting so many different people, different walks of the world. And I think this time last week we also had some lovely people on from Australia, and because they're about 9 o'clock in the evening. Anyway, so loads to go through this particular time period, and also this week. We're calling on Guiomar in just a second to give us an insight to how things are and what's discussed here. So that'd be great. I'd also like to say a big thank you to my guest last night, who was Stephanie J. King. She was absolutely wonderful, lovely, lovely lady, and we'll be having her again on the show on another Tuesday evening a little bit later on. But yes, you guys, how are you out there? Are you well? Are you having a good morning? Are you feeling or sensing that the crazies are out there? Are they? Maybe not. Anyway, because a lot of people this week are just saying here, what's going on with the energy? It's nutty. People are doing funny things, and life is not normal. Excuse me. Can I just make an observation here? What is normal? Explain the word normal. Guiomar in the background now. I can see her back in her studio there. She's looking in, going, laughing away, going about normality. I love normality. Yes. Anyway, very good morning to you. I hope you're well. And let's get on with the show and have a good old chat this morning with our good friend down the road. Good friend down the road, Guiomar. Now, don't forget, guys, this is what we'd like you to do during the show with our three little dragons. If you could share the show, if you could do everything there to let other people know that the show goes on out there, because this is free. So your task this morning is to share, like, distribute all content out to the world and let everybody know we're here, because we love having a chat with you guys out there. And yes, let's see what's going on out there. So guys, let us know how you're feeling this morning and let us know how you are. Now, this is interesting. Eleni says hello. And hello, Eleni. Good morning. And we also have Jay, who says, morning, tribe. Work is getting in the way, so I have to catch up later. Lots of love. Okay. All right, Jay. Well, hope to see you soon. And the producer says, good morning, Jay. So we've said good morning to the producer. Good morning, producer. And I think it's about time to go. There's a ring on the door. Go and find out if Guiomar is at the front door. Let's go to find out what she's up to. Yep, there she is, right on cue. Good morning.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Oh, I'm very, very well indeed, thank you. Very, very well indeed. So, yes, I've just been talking to a few people this week, and they're saying here that times are different. Times are quite strange, unusual in some respects here. So, is this just a minute period of time you think we're going through, or is this the new way set in for donkeys where everybody's going? Well, like I say here, everybody's expressing themselves in different ways.
What do you mean if this is a minute period of time? Like, we've been going through a really strange year. It's exciting to see how people are actually observing how energy shifts, like from one week to another, how it changes, how we're more and more sensitive to this. I think this is really cool. I mean, it's people are getting more and more excited with astrology and are starting to look into it, and listening to podcasts, to programs like ours, reading or studying it. And I think it's just so important because really astrology has the answers that nothing else has. No, it can really give you a really deep insight to the energies that are happening and why they are happening and how we can work with them instead of against them. So yeah, it's good times in that sense. But,
I think so
yeah.
too.
And
As you say that, when I was studying astrology in London, and there's some people there saying, "Oh, but why are you looking at astrology? Just conversation." And this chap looked at me and said, "Because I want to look for the truth." But I said, okay. Well, actually, I agree with you. Just as you're saying there, that's where you find a lot of answers to things in the world out there, I think, is by finding the truth through astrology. I think it probably provides one of the most accurate forms of letting us know how the times are, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say like, okay, truth is the truth. The truth is something I think of a much, much broader scope, which our tiny little minds are not capable of actually grasping.
Yeah.
But it does get, I always like to say something different to what you affirm, but the more than a truth, I think it's clarity. Clarity is like jumping to higher levels, like being able to see from higher levels, so you get a wider perspective, a broader perspective of what's going on.
Yeah.
So things make sense. Because if you're just stuck in your own level and looking around, things don't make sense because you can't see all the factors that are happening.
Yes.
Whereas if you look from above, you can actually see everything that's happening. Now, imagine you're like in a 20-story building and there's a chase happening down at the street, no? And then, like, if you're the guy that's running, you only see you and like, oh, somebody's gonna chase you and somebody's gonna get you and you're in danger and you only have that perspective, but you don't have every other perspective, like all the people that are around there, like those who are chasing you, for example. But when you look from above, you can actually see like why this guy is running, what's happening, if they're going to catch him, what sense does this make? So when you broaden your perspective, you gain so much clarity because you're able to see all the actors that are playing around in what's going on, no?
Absolutely. And I think if you could understand what the other actors are doing and what's going on, then you sort of get the story, you get more of the other half, you see the picture there. Yes, and when I was doing a lot of training there, that observing from above is almost like universal objectivity. So you're seeing it from a non-partial or not being one-sided. It's not an easy thing to do sometimes, is it? To detach yourself from a situation to try and understand what the whole picture is. But I think if we do know that, and I think that's great. I think we do find that. And
yeah, and keep in mind also that North Node is in Gemini. And the North Node goes through a sign for like 18 months each time.
Yes.
And it just went in like, I think it was in May or something like that.
Yes.
So we still have a while to go. And North Node in Gemini is saying, like, don't fight, like, see the different perspectives, no?
Yes.
And it's about learning to accept that people think differently. For example, we were talking about the masks the other day, no? Well, some people think this way, some people think that way. And it's fine. It just makes part of the diversity. And there's a higher reason for that your little mind can't grasp. So just accept the differences and try to understand where other people are coming from. That's what North Node and Gemini asks us for. And yeah, I mean, I see a comment here from Deborah saying that I experienced some people who are angry this week and seem to be venting their frustration. Yeah, I mean, Mars is doing its thing, and it's in opposition to the sun, and it's in the transcendence point. So the Mars cycle started, takes about 2 years, a little bit less, but a little bit more than 2 years.
Yes.
So it started last year when it was in Libra, and right now it's in its transcendence point. So that's a very dynamic point, but it's basically a point that talks about grounding spirit.
Okay.
And if you are not open enough to ground spirit, which Sun Libra helps to be open, then what can happen is that you can resist it. And when you resist it, what you resist persists, but also that's when that Mars energy can turn into aggressiveness. Because Mars energy per se is not aggressiveness. It's all about purpose. It's about incarnating your spirit, who you truly are. So the aggressiveness also comes out because you're disempowered.
Yeah, now that's interesting.
What energies of today are about.
Yes. I think this, because you also got Mercury retrograde out there as well, which is sort of the two understand each other in some respects, Mars and Mercury, don't they? And I think if they're both working together harmoniously, it's a fantastic energy. But when you get this disruption, if I call it like that, or the missing communicative links, and you've got that Mars energy in this retrograde where it's coming out with stuff, then I think people, which is why people sometimes going through this particular timing are finding it very challenging, very awkward, and why is it like this? Why me? And all these sort of bits and pieces.
That's the point, because the why me. The why me. So again, astrology gives us a perspective that you start to understand that it's not about you at all. So nothing is personal. Nothing that happens to you is personal. It's part of the energy of the moment. So this Mars is squaring all the Capricorn clump, the Capricorn cluster. So it's really asking us to mature as far as our initiative, our purpose, our drive. Yeah. To really own that purpose, to really own that drive, to really be who we are, right? But we come from this long period of retrograde planets, the lockdown. It was all about going inward, cultivating ourselves, taking care of ourselves, not even knowing where we're going and all that stuff. And now the energy is shifting. Like Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are now direct. And so I think Mars will come direct soon, even though Mercury is retrograde. Yes. I'm not sure what day. Anyway,
it's the thing 13th of November.
Yeah. So the thing is that it's asking us for maturity. So the energy of the moment is like, okay, you've been contemplating, you've been meditating, you've been feeling and taking care of yourself, but now you have to start the engine.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to go forward, but you have to start the engine. But why? Because if the engine has been stopped for so long and you just start the engine and keep on and move forward, it's not going to work very well. You probably, the carburetor and everything is not going to start working very well. So it's going to damage the engine. So what we want to do now is just start the engine and let it running. Yes. So everything starts moving forward little by little, but you don't want to actually physically move forward, but you do want to go, okay, it's time to get up out of the sofa and start planning. We have Venus and Moon today in Virgo. So we want to start planning. We want to start really saying, okay, so what do I want to do? That Mercury retrograde, which is in opposition to Uranus and Taurus. So it's like, what do you really want to do? What is it? What are the pieces? So it's what's going to happen, or what's happening these days, is you're really going to see what your comfort zone is. Because if you stay put, if you don't move, if you just wait for things to happen, you're going to see how you fall into your comfort zone, into your old patterns. And the old patterns basically are very recognizable because it's you wanting others to do something. So then once others do something, then you can do or have what you want or be what you want to be. And that's not the way to go. No. You got to be empowered.
I think as well, very interesting, lovely conversation this morning. And I think, did you think, this is one of the things I'm experiencing, is the changes, mindset, doorways, anything like this that's happening in people's lives now are very different to what they thought it was going to be. So again, we've got even more like, oh my goodness, this change is coming up, or that change is coming up, or this is on my mind. Why am I thinking like this? So people are going through these particular times at the moment. And I would say, I don't know if it's challenges. I think sometimes it's just presentation of emotions, feelings and situations in our lives at the present time, which are okay. And as you say, I think it's right not to go and say, right, I've got to do this. Right, I've got to do that. I think it's just get that engine just started, just ticking over, just seeing where things go and just playing through the next sort of few months.
Exactly. Because there's a little plot twist to this, because soon, I haven't seen the exact date, but Lilith is going to go into Taurus, because right now I think it's at 29, Lilith is at 29 degrees, right? So it's going into Taurus in a few days, exactly on the 21st. So Lilith in Taurus is going to say, okay, you thought you knew what you wanted? New values are coming in. So
now
it's like,
oh my goodness.
turn the engine on, and it was my idea was getting into the engine because I want to go to the shopping mall. And then suddenly in a week's time, it's like, no, I don't want to go to the shopping mall. I want to go to the mountains. And it's like, what's going on, right? So it's going to catch us a bit like this, but we just have to understand that's what's going to happen. It's fine.
I think
so we have like new inspiration coming in, but for that new inspiration coming in, we have to, on the one hand, not stay too rigidly in our comfort zone, because it was very, you get used to being just in the sofa, sitting there waiting for things to happen. No, it's start to be a little proactive. Don't take true action forward, because the way you see things, it's going to change soon. So understand that all the work you've done, all that time that we've been in lockdown, that we all these last 2 years with North Node in Cancer, we've been taking care of ourselves. So we've been building up like the trunk of a tree, and we've been digging roots in. So all that's going to serve the purpose of stabilizing us. So we don't leave our comfort zone, and we can open up to those new values that are coming in.
I think so. I think so too. I think that these new values and these new beliefs are going to set things up completely for a new future in front of us. I think what's surprising us, though, is the way they're suddenly just dropping in these particular things going on in our lives. I know we've got some wonderful comments up here this morning. To say, Sally, sorry you're going through an awful time. Up and downs, ins and outs, the emotional roller coaster. Sorry you're going through a difficult time there. And hopefully things will start to get out a little bit easier for you. But Ellie says, what a wonderful way of explaining the situation that we're going through at the time. And also here, yes, well, yeah, I know, only halfway through the week as well, says the producer. Yes, here we go. That's not bad. What's the rest of the week going to hold for us? Well, today we're with the moon and Venus together in Virgo. That's quite a nice time, and the good news is that Venus is going to started to make a few harmonies over to Jupiter, over to Pluto, over to Saturn. So we should see a little bit of maybe a bit of an uplift there, a bit of magic from Venus with. Maybe just some nice little comforting news or things like this amongst all this T-square energy going on between the Sun, Mars, and like that. Dear, yes.
Yeah, it's a nice energy, Venus Moon. It is in Virgo, so it's nice. Like Virgo energy, and Moon Venus Virgo is nice for making lists. So if you want to make a list of something, go ahead and do it. You can anticipate that Lilith in Taurus within a week, and you can start just making a list of what things are really important for you in your life. What are your values? What do you feel is it that is really core to your well-being?
Yeah.
You can ask yourself those questions to sort of prepare. And I'm reading about the comments about the roller coaster and the mixed kebab, emotional mixed kebab, and all that stuff that Ellie was saying.
That's very good. Seems
it's normal. That's the whole year, really. It's all about going up and down. So we suddenly, that Neptune, which is like doing a sextile to the hard planets, is softening everything. So like right now there is an opposition Neptune, Venus, Moon, and that's like very soft.
Yes.
So when they release, it's like, oh no, we're back to retrograde Mercury in opposition to Uranus. Oh my God, this all this shit coming up, and then suddenly we have another beautiful harmonious aspect, and it's like, oh wow, isn't this beautiful? So it's just navigating through that. It's like, imagine you're just in the middle of the sea and you have a really strong boat, and you're just going to go. One day it's like really good waters, other days and wind, other days it's just calm and nothing's going on, and it's like you don't even go forward. Other days it's like, oh my God, I'm in the middle of a storm, but the boat can endure that and it can go through. So it's just learn to navigate.
I agree with you. I think here, when the storm is there, we can't stop the storm. It's a process just going through nature. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because when energy's around us, we do tend to feel this energy, this tension. If you know it and understand what it is, you just go, okay, that's it. It's just there. It's going to pass through. It's going to pass through. Exactly. Maybe we just, it does make us think about things, brings up all these emotions. But it is that reaction to other people, though, isn't it? It just needs to be a little bit mindful of just at the minute.
Exactly. Right now, it's about seeing understanding different perspectives and understand that you just have to own your own power and hold yourself up. Tracy says, is there an end in sight? So my Scorpio rising immediately will lash out and say something. It never ends until the day you die. But no, but think about it this way. That's my Scorpio talking. Sorry, it's my dark side. Think about it this way. So it's a different way of living, Tracy. It's not about saying, oh my God, I want to be in my comfort zone. I don't want to feel anything. I want to be in my mind and thinking about everybody else and not thinking about myself. No, everything has changed. So now it's all about thinking about yourself. And then you're going to be like very mindful of how everything shifts and changes. And then every time there are new energies that are inviting you to realize new things. So it's a never-ending process. Growth is a never-ending process.
No,
a tree grows one way or another. It grows until you chop it down.
Yes.
So you're always gonna be in moving and shifting and changing. But each time the invitation is to observe life through a different perspective. For example, a different north node with different energies coming into play. But it doesn't end. It's always going to be you connecting with you and seeing how you connecting with you connects with the outside. You don't want that to end, because if that ends, it means you're outside of you again. That's the new norm.
I think that's it. And I think when we look at you guys do ask out there, there's an end in sight. I think you're right. There's no such thing as the end. I think it's cycles and rhythms. It just keeps, if you imagine circles just keep going round and round and round and round and round, maybe that's the way to look at it, as you're saying there. Very much like, very well, it's the same as astrology, isn't it? Cycles and rhythms and circular, or we'll sort of say circular patterns on an astrology chart, but the planets take odd directions and paths. But yes, okay, positive growth I could move with, Tracy.
I know. We all want to be comfortable in ourselves, but Tracy, this is the invitation of the times. Of course, there are times when it's going to be like overwhelming, and it's like, oh my God, stop it, no? But it is an invitation for you to be in your sovereignty, for you to realize that it depends on you, for you to feel good. So there's always something that you can do to feel good, and it doesn't matter what is going on around you. I mean, we all know cases of people, I don't know, somebody who's paralyzed from the neck downwards, or who's, I don't know, has a terrible illness. And then many people, like, that's the end of the world for them. And then you get some people that go, oh my God, this has transformed me. I see life from a different perspective. So there is nothing inherently horrible. It's always an invitation to grow. I do emphasize that the more sensitive you are, the more willing you are to grow and change, the easier it gets. So you don't need like really tough things. But in the growth process, you have to adjust. This is like, okay, once you were a child, and in many cases, children lived very happy because they didn't have to take care of anything. It's like mom and dad did absolutely everything. They made the food, they gave them shelter, comfort, paid the bills. And, you know, the kids normally just had a nice time. And then you grow up and you start going to school and you go to university and it's hard and it's, oh my God, all these subjects I have to study. I can't do it. And then you finish university and you think you're free, and you're not free, because then comes you in the working world. And then you have to look for a job, and then you have to sacrifice yourself for a job and get paid poorly. And, you know, until you finally, maybe in the best of cases, you find either a very good job or you make your own business. And then you say, okay, now I'm free. And then you're not, because it's a hard job to have your own business until it rolls down. So you're going all your life, you're growing and growing and growing, and you're going through all these experiences, and you're finding out some are easy, some are hard, but they are all experiences, and we can enjoy them all if our perspective is that of trusting life and understanding that we're here to grow, we're here to learn. And the more we understand this, the easier things get, because the more you can surf with the changes.
I totally agree with you, because when you are young like that, I was going to turn, maybe my volume needs to come down a bit. Right. When I agree with you, just to see this. Okay, we've just got someone there who's just come on, guys, and just ignore them. Just ignore them, please. And you'll see it there come up. Anyway, so guys, what I was going to say to you is we're going through this particular time, this cycle here. I think is very strong in the sense that this process we're going through. I think is just amazing, guys. You got to get little messages up there. It's just someone just trying to come in and let you know.
I'm blocking.
Yeah, that's it. Just block them. Just block them. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. So over this next week or so, if there was something there we could say that would help people to go through a particular time there, what could you say would be the best thing to do this particular week we're going through now? Because just started Mercury retrograde, and one of the things I would actually say about a retrograde, it is at its bookends. I call it the bookends or the ending points, is when it's most influences, because suddenly we're being changed. Suddenly life is changing, the cycle of life is changing, and then it gets to the other end where it comes forwards again. Then there's another cycle of change. So it's almost like that sort of period like that. It seems to be stronger there. At this particular time we're going through this Venus energy and the Sun energy, the squares and the trines coming on here. Do you think it's just going to sort of balance out a little bit, so we've got a bit more sparkle coming up through this week?
I haven't really checked, but as I said, it doesn't really matter. It's not like, oh my God, we're going through the storm. I'm going to imagine that I'm already at the Caribbean. Yeah. No, you're going through the storm. Be present in the storm. What are you doing imagining the Caribbean where you're in the middle of a storm? Just enjoy the storm.
Just enjoy the storm. Absolutely.
Learn to enjoy the storm. I know sometimes it's difficult. I know when you're new at this, it's like overwhelming. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you start to view life from the perspective of your inner self and how you relate to the world, the easier change gets.
Yeah. I think it does. That's part of our wisdom, isn't it? It's part of our wisdom, but what we're here to learn and know. And yes. But hopefully, Tracy, that answers your.
The more you are aligned with you, the more you are connected to your heart, the more. So if you're in your body, if you're connected with your body and what you're feeling, it's easier to be more aligned, know what you want, be more connected to your heart, and less in your mind. So the more you are in that state, more in your heart and less in your mind, the easier it is to just intuitively, instinctively, with unbeknownst to you, just react the best way possible for you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in the mind, like, oh, what do I have to do? Where do I have to go? What about my husband, my children, my blah, blah, blah. When you're in the mind like that, you have no capability for reacting in sync with the energies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yes, thank you very much, everybody. It says, Trace says, it does. It's lovely. And Susanna says, yes, so true. So true. Okay, good morning, people. Hope you're well out there. It's coming out to 28 minutes past 11 here in Spain. And there's almost 10:30 in the UK or wherever else you are there. Lovely to see so many people online this morning. And thank you very much for engaging in the show. Okay, and we also got a few more people there. Ray, thank you very much for your message there. And hey guys, do you see a long-term soul partner for me? I'd love to have a family. I'm not getting any younger. Well, we don't get younger, we get wiser, more distinguished, more amazing as you get older.
Phil, what do you think is a soul partner?
What do I think is a soul partner? Now that's the interesting question. Now, when you go very deep here to soul partner is someone who's in your soul group in the spirit world before you come back down, and you actually got a partnership there in soul partnership. So when you come back down, you've both made the connection that at some point you're going to meet each other and connect and then be with that person through your life. Some people call the soul partner the person from your previous life that you were with. There's that connection that way. For me,
yeah, so what do you think you obtain with that connection from that perspective?
Sorry, say it again.
What do you obtain? What do you achieve from that connection?
Well, it could be that someone completely understands you, completely and utterly understands you, and you completely
like when your mom wants to feed you when you're a baby.
That's a soul, isn't it? There's a soul there, isn't there?
So what are we looking for? So what are we calling a soul? partnership? What are we calling twin souls? Or what are we calling soulmates?
Well,
what is it? Because from my perspective, that doesn't play out exactly that way. And so in my experience, it's more like when you have a soul connection, it's too strong for the body to hold. So you're always going to get really difficult situations and conflicts.
Yes. Yes.
Because, there's that, and then there's just like soul groups. So like you were saying before, which is more like, hey, let's help each other out, and make it a little bit easier because we're still like, I don't know, not that experienced in this plane.
There's some really good books on past life regression going into this and going in between lives. And many people have written books on this. I love doing this in hypnosis to find out why we're connecting with those particular people and what it is we're there to learn. And sometimes the people of the spirit world you absolutely love and adore, and yet you come back down into this earth plane to actually, yes, your soul, there's a soul connection, but it's actually to have a challenge with each other. A challenge to grow. Yeah. So sometimes, and then when you return back to the spirit world, it's like, hey, we learned loads. Although down on the earth plane, you're thinking, this is hell.
Exactly, because like if we're very identified with our ego, which is basically being in the mind most of the time, then we're actually not even seeing the person that is in front of us. So you might think like, okay, this is my soulmate or whatever, but you're not really engaging soul to soul. You might get a hint of it at the beginning of the relationship, but then quickly it fades away. So we have a lot of difficulties in really relating soul to soul because of this egoic identification, which we are now starting to let go of to be more ourselves. And that will allow us in the future to be more soul connected. But when there's soul connection, there's pure acceptance of the other person. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to fix the other person. You don't want to control the other person. You don't want the relationship to be in any sort of way. And guys, like we only know how to have structured relationships. We expect from a relationship to be with us, to live with us, to understand what we want and give it to us and so forth. And that's not a soul-based relationship at all. That's a human-based relationship.
Okay.
So what do we want? Do we really want a soul-based relationship?
Yes.
Are we able to sustain and hold that?
Yes.
Can we live through it? And can we live through all the growth that intense amount of energy is going to put us through? Are we willing to commit so much to yourself and to your destiny that you are open to go through that?
These are interesting questions, guys. These are very interesting questions here. Ray, thank you very much for your message there. Could you actually text through? We need your date of birth, your favorite, and a favorite color. We could do your chart then. Thank you very, very much for this. It is absolutely fascinating. So it is interesting, isn't it? Because the old terminology was, I want to find my soulmate. But that's not necessarily an easy person. Yeah, but it's the term, I understand. It's like your loving partner. Okay, your loving partner. Great. Yeah. And
think about it this way: 2020 is our soulmate.
Yeah, 2020 is.
This is what having a soulmate is like.
Yeah. Okay, Rocio, thank you very much. Ray.
Sorry for bringing out my Scorpio energy, but I like to always give a different perspective on things. It's not personal.
Oh dear, brilliant.
We can wish. You can, if you want like a beautiful sharing relationship, I think, of course, you can wish to have that beautiful sharing relationship. It will imply a certain amount of growth. Otherwise, it won't be a beautiful relationship for a long time. But we can have that. We can wish that. But it doesn't have to necessarily be a soulmate. I think if we're really want something very deep and profound, you got to go deep and profound into you first, and really understand what it is to swim those murky waters.
I think so too. I think it's how we perceive it and what our contact is with them. Yes, I know what you mean there. Yes, okay. Yeah, absolutely, Susanna. Lovely. Yeah. Always lovely to get your points of view. Absolutely lovely there. Okie dokie. Right. Yeah, okay, let's go.
For me, it's a slightly different. Yeah, Susanna. I mean, there are like many relationships like you can have with a partner, with a child, with a parent, that are very special and warm and comforting relationships, which is like good for the body and the soul, who have gone through a lot, maybe in other lives or even in this life, that you've endured a lot of hard things. And it's like, okay, I want to rest. So I think, yeah, you can wish or intend to have that type of relationship, and you can live that type of relationship, no? But also for all those other people who wish to go even further, no? I think it's important to be a bit more humble in that sense.
I think so too. I think it's a very, very interesting show this morning. Okay, right. Thank you very much there, Ray, for your details there. Thank you very much. We also got Ellie, got your details too. Thank you very much. But first of all, very nice lady called Diane. She sent in her details just before the show started. Thank you very, very much. Diane, she's over the other side of the pond here, and she said, I hope you don't mind. She said, I'd love a reading, and she just wanted to have a little look at a particular situation around, especially financially and professionally. Professionally. Now, the interesting is worked on your numerology here. So, Diane, thank you very, very much for joining us. And she's actually a 336 here. Now, it's interesting here when you get 11s, 22s or 33s, because there's always a big plan somewhere. There's something going to go on that's going to shift. It may well be here that what actually transpires in our lives, and sometimes what comes through, is that we get situations that go and happen, and what you've been going through here is not particularly easy. I'd say a very challenging time. But you know what? I think this is a big thing with you guys who are 11s and 22s and 33s, is that sometimes your challenge is to go and experience everything from the bottom end to the top end, and to get that information there. And sometimes I'd say, Diane, is some of the friendships and the people that you make along the way is so important to you. I think that is an immense thing there. And I also would say here too, with this information which is coming through for you, Diane, is that keep learning, keep communicating, keep networking with people, because your 33 turns into a 6. And this is about the communication, the community. Is how you connect with community and people around you, which is going to help you, I think, here, especially regarding your finances and regarding your situation around you. You've also got here, you've in a sense here, is like the 3s is also the sign of the Trinity with the triangle, but you've got 2. You've got a double one here. It's almost like having either 2 objectives, 2 plans, or having a lot on your plate that just keeps you moving. The main thing is your 3 is keep moving, keep seeking, keep wanting to change out there. And I think that's where you're going to get some news that way. But have a look in the tarot in a very short space of time, and let's have a little look there. Okay, right. Okay, let's go pop down the road. Let's pop down the road there. And what would you like to say there? We're going for Diane.
For Diana?
Yes, yeah, Diane.
Wait, is it 7169, yeah?
That's it, yep.
Okay, I wrote the name wrong. Okay, so Diana, hi. What I would add, Diana's a Capricorn, but a moon in Leo, and Lilith, which is in Gemini, is also an aspect to Leo. So here creativity is very important. It's also an aspect of Saturn. So, and what this tells me is that for you, Diana, you are too used to seeing success as the way people say it and suppressing your creative side. But for Capricorn this year, it's a huge change of identity that we're going through. Right, Phil?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I'd say that.
Like we're all Capricorns. So it's huge identity change. So probably the Leo aspect in you, the creative aspect in you, is the side that has to really come forward. It's very important that you activate that, because success will never fulfill you unless you put your heart into what you're doing in a creative way. So practice anything that is creative if you're not already. Just whatever you, I don't know, paint, sing, play music, write, whatever it is, to exercise creativity, to help things come from within.
I think so. I think so too. And the threes there. I think 6 is also is a very creative number. As much as it's very organised and needing a little bit of structure or business, it's also has got that. I agree with you. Has got that energy there to be completely infinite with being creative. And yes, okay, yeah. Let's have a look here at your tarot cards. Okay, work coming up soon. Finances. Where are we going? Let's go and get the left pile and see what this is saying for you. Right, okie dokie dokie. Right, it's your situation around you. I can see where it's very, very difficult, and I can see where it's slow moving. I think but the secret here is to keep networking with people, because you're a knight of wands here, a knight of rods. It's very much about talking, communicating, networking, finding from people. Jobs, people find jobs through networking, through talking to other people. It's like it's say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And very much about your cards at the moment are working with you to just keep connecting, keep talking. And I think here that's where you're going to find your situation. Now, if I was looking around a particular time, I'd say here, when is this likely to change for you? The vibrational, the energy seems to be very strong around you towards the latter end of November. That's when I see here, I'd say that your energies are likely to come into a better time with opportunities of work around then. And I think here it's just amazing some of the things that you're going to get yourself into. And I think here, wow, go for it. I think you're going to be a very, very lucky little soul. And I think you're great. I think you should be. Good. Anything else there to add?
And to add, no.
Okay, brilliant. Let's go and have a look here. And right, let's go and do a little bit of this. Let's go and do a little bit of this, if I can just find this. And it'll be there in a second. Oops. Sorry, everything's coming up on my plate then, just that very second. Okie dokie. This is the Astrology Show. Very, very good morning to you. Okay, right. Let's go back up the road here and let's go and have a look at Ray Louise. She comes on here and she wants to know a little bit her romantic situation here. Have you got the details there? 13/12, 1986.
13/12?
13/12, 1986. Well, should do that bit. Yeah, guys, what we'd like here is, as you can see here, it's easier if we have your birth details before the show. That makes it so much easier, guys, in which case that would be a great help. Anyway, it's interesting though with your numerology here, because what I'm picking up around you there, Ray, is to say to you that your energies are like a 3-1-4. 3 and 4, you're looking for a particular partner. Where are we going at this particular time in our lives? The 3 here, would you understand that you are a very communicative little soul? I wouldn't say you're a shy soul, someone sits in the background there. No, I'd say you're quite a character who comes forward, likes to enjoy life here. And you're 1. It's interesting here. There's a very, very strong sense of independence or even security here for yourself, which makes this quite immense, quite strong there. And she says, yes, that's right. And right, what I've also get here too with the numerology there is to say around you, yeah, you've done it yourself. Thank you very much. Yeah, 3-1-4. Your 4 part here is about needing that structure, that base. So sometimes here people fitting in with you is the way forwards. It's not necessarily you having to do this in any other. Yes, fiercely independent. I love that. Fiercely, but ferociously. It's like, yeah. First of all, she was wildly independent before. Now she's actually lividly independent. Anyway, and actually here, looking at this particular space and time where you're going through now, that's going to be interesting because here your numbers 9, 11 is actually bringing you into a very master year, very, very much a master of mastery. So they are asking about your love life. Would you also understand here that it's also a need to have mastery around you at a particular time? Once we're following the path we need to follow, especially to mastery, then funny things happen regarding romantically, because we're following the path we should be. So sometimes it's not about focusing on love. It's more about focusing on your work, where you're going that way. Then everything comes back to you. She says, she says, I'm so playful and fiercely independent. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Right. Anything you would like to say there to help Ray?
So Ray has a Sun conjunct Uranus in Sagittarius, and the North Node in Aries. That's what makes you fiercely independent.
Absolutely. Wow.
So it's a nice combination because it's like a little bit of a bulletproof combination together with that Moon in Taurus. But we have a Pluto conjunct Venus in Scorpio and a Lilith in Cancer. It's like intimacy that hurts. So there's like a part of you that is not so independent, more codependent, because there's a part of you that's still a bit needy because of that Lilith in Cancer. So it's important for you to be well balanced in that aspect. And I mean, that Uranus and Sagittarius, like I said, it's like being bulletproof. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think you're doing. It's just going to zap you out where whatever is too much for you. But that Lilith in Cancer is so sensitive, and Pluto Venus needs so much, I don't know, somebody there with them, and because doesn't want to be alone, that you don't want to go into playing the Matahari game, right? Because it's easy for this combination. It would get you hurt more. So you want to really connect with that sensitive part, with that sensitive feminine part, and even sensitive sexuality. But connecting with your vulnerability too, but in a way that feels comfortable and safe for you to open up.
Yes.
To open up nicely, without having to go through too much turmoil, which your Sun Uranus wouldn't let you. But it's interesting that that this is happening, and cultivate that softer aspect. Also, nature, lots of connection with nature to nurture you.
I think so too. And I think one of the things that I say to you, my Pluto Venus is difficult to navigate. Yeah, it can be. But one of the things I say here is, would you understand if I said to you, and this is a Pluto Venus thing, I imagine these are a bit challenging to do this, if I just said the words, let go. Let go.
Yeah, because what happens is that it's very easy for you to start imagining how things should be, or to get carried away by your imagination. You have a Jupiter, Mars in Pisces, and Neptune with Lilith. So it's easy to just get carried away with the imagination and just go with the flow, but you're actually not going with your flow, but with somebody else's flow. So the more you take care of you and your space with that sensitive Lilith Cancer, and really earth yourself and connect with that vulnerable part of you in a very intimate way. You don't have to share this with anybody. It's for you. The easier it will be for you not to give in the negative side of that imagination that you have. So you'd be able to use your imagination in a more productive way.
I think so too, Ray. Just like you hear, it's interesting to say there. I'm actually 4 years into astrology studies, and my chart has taught me a lot about myself. Nice. Yeah, great. Whereabouts you do your astrology study? That'd be interesting to know, and which college or group or whatever you're doing there. Now, it's interesting here. Keep focusing on work. Keep focusing on work. Keep focusing on doing the things that I know sometimes we have those needs. I need this, I need that, I want that, I want this. Maybe there's a lot about your life around at the moment, especially your cards here, the numerology, and what we're actually saying here is just allow life just keep going and just see what comes into you, because I think it's what life is bringing to you rather than what you're actually not saying needing. I think your cards are suggesting here, just go with the flow. Yes. Okay. I teach under Christine Bothwell in Australia. Lovely. Very, very nice too. Very nice too. Good. Okay, because I used to do at the London School of Astrology. So, but you were self-taught though. Was that right, Guiomar? Completely self-taught?
Yes.
I would have said here that you're one of the most fascinating astrologers I've ever come across. But I think it's your way of looking at things. I don't think they could actually teach that at an astrology center, astrology school. I think that's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. No, Ray, that's absolutely fine. Thank you so much. That was an absolute pleasure. It's nice to see you from Australia. Lovely stuff. Okay. Let's just come back up here, and I think here we saw, just looking for it, there she is. It's I got Debs Harris comes on. She says here that she's a 2nd of the 12th, 1964. She says, I'm open to what I need to know. Open to what I need to know. Okay, well, psychically, first of all, I think here, if I was to pick up on this, in fact, do a bit of mediumship here and see what comes up. Glasses have got to come off for this. That's it. And about where we're going here, I think for you, would you understand if I said to you, would you understand if I said to you here that to do with your spiritual healing and to do with spirituality is to I'm actually picking up a feeling here to say to allow your beliefs to grow rather than keep it external, if I call it like that, is to have this more internal so that your beliefs really, really grow. And I think then you'll be in a terrific place. And I also would say here, would warmly say with this energy around you, I think here that you're going to meet a lot of people in front of you who are actually going to be warmingly needing your love, your compassion, the work that you're going to be doing here more spiritually. I think will just be absolutely awesome. So keep on going, because I think here you're going to do just fine. Okay, right. And also here to I also would say here too, with this energy around you, I think you're going to have an extraordinary time, especially towards the end of the year and going into next year. The energy around you, these particular points in time, I think will be absolutely magic. Good. Okay, shall I pop down the road to the astrology and see what you're picking up there?
So I think Deb is a very self-sacrificing soul for others, no? You are a Sagittarius, but you have a Neptune moon in Scorpio and Lilith in Capricorn with Venus. So it's easier for you to be there for others, no? But also with the North Node in Gemini and Sun in Sagittarius, it's more like you think that's the way things should be done, but you are not actually, like, even though that moon can really go deep and connect deeply to people, there can be a tendency to think you know what others want, because North Node in Gemini really has to learn to listen to where other people are coming from, and maybe not seeing them from the perspective that they need help, but more from the perspective that they are actually very valuable, because that's what the Scorpio higher energy wants, and which merges into Sag, which is guiding people into their value instead of just sacrificing yourself and trying to help others.
I think so too. And there's also, you come up here with a 257. And I think here, now here's the interesting part. On the 2, this is like the seesaw tipping this way or that way. And the need to be careful around at the moment, careful with yourself around at the moment, because your 2 can either work very proactive with your 5, or actually, dare I say, diminish it or shrink it down. Because your 5, it says here, I just need to be out there. I just need to be out there loving life, in a sense here, flirting, being happy, bouncy, buoyant, wonderful energy. And it's almost like a shyness, I guess you could say, in a certain way. Is there a shyness here which is holding you back? And I would say here, perhaps there is here. But don't let it inhibit this lovely 5 energy that just wants to bounce out there. It's great. You've also got a 7. This ends up then as a 7. And that's very much about spiritual values, spiritual energy. And this is, says, yes, I'm learning lots spiritually. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. Do you think that in an astrology chart, when you're actually looking for a spiritual value, do you think that planets have got to be at certain degrees, or do you think it's just a planet in a sign that gives you that to think, oh, this person's quite spiritual?
Well, I really don't look into the degrees, but I agree that they are very useful. I mean, you can see degrees in many perspectives, like decanatos and dodecanatos. I don't know how you say that in English. And also you can look at it from the perspective of numerology. So if you have a sun at 10 degrees, then it's 10. It's the leader. It's a subtle leader. It's so yeah, you can look at it from many different perspectives. Astrology actually allows you to do that.
Yes.
There's no limit to the imagination of how you can apply things with astrology.
Oh, I think so. Yes, because there's more than one type of astrology chart. So you talk about Kosh, sidereal, and everything else, and then you go Ayurvedic and Arabic, Chinese astrology. Oh, it's out there, isn't it? Everything is out there. Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating.
So, having said that, for me, I can see that in the way Lilith plays in the chart. Okay, that's my specialty, and also in Neptune.
Okay.
Neptune is also going to give you by house placement, even in a way by sign, especially like Neptune in Sag, which Neptune takes like 14 years to go through a sign, so it goes there for a long time. But that's like the 1970s generation.
Yeah.
That they are highly spiritual. Many are not connected with that spirituality, but many of them who are not connected, if they have the right configuration, you can easily take them there.
Absolutely,
it's ingrained in them. You can easily connect them with that, and I love it. It's so beautiful.
It is lovely, isn't it? And I think I know, Debs, just by your face, by your little thumbnail there, you look absolutely fabulous. You look a lovely, lovely, friendly soul, and absolute pleasure to read for you. Now, 3 minutes left of the show here. Vivi, what a very nice name, Vivi, and I think it's a lovely name there. She says a lovely reading with a job, please. Now, what we're going to do, because we're coming to the end of the show, I want to look into this properly. So we're going to take your details and we're going to drop this into the astrology show, which is next Wednesday. Also, if any of you guys would like readings with Guiomar on Sunday, which is just colour, and then I'll do the tarot cards and mediumship with you. But if you'd like an astrology, numerology, tarot, mediumship reading, then we'll send your details through for next week. Now, so hopefully that helps you. But yes, she's here, she says. Oh, it's lovely to know you're there. Wonderful. Whereabouts are you coming from, if you don't mind me asking? Because you're absolutely lovely. And Guiomar is sending out a hug to everybody. Thank you very much, Guiomar. Thank you very much. Okay, so to round off the show, just to round off the show here, coming up through next week, if these next 7 days in front of us, if there's a way or a word or a phrase just to coach us through this particular week, what will we say?
Start your engines.
Start your engines.
Start your engine and warm it up. Okay.
Indonesia. I'll tell you what, Viv, it's lovely to welcome you here, and there's a little round of applause for you. Vivi, so we'll bring you on next week. Is that next Wednesday? So we've got your details there, and absolutely look forward to reading for you then. Okay, wonderful show. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and hope you have a wonderful day yourself. Clairvoyance will be joining us. Yes, there's a date there from the producer. She says, thank you for joining us this morning. Back on Sunday, 7 p.m. EU time, 6 p.m. UK. And also might be able to be dropping in the odd little pop-up Wednesdays, things like this, just see what we're up to. And also, thank you very much for all your comments there. Yes, Deb says, thank you both of you. Appreciate your time and a fab reading. Lovely. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, guys, see you very, 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 very soon. Loads of love, loads of hearts, loads of burgers, hearts, and all burgers and love all week. Love and burgers all week. What a fabulous week that would be.
Bye.
Anyway, Guiomar, thank you very much to you. Also, a big thank you to the producer and to everybody else who joined the show this morning. Lovely to see you, and see you guys very, very soon. See you on Sunday.